We are Gold Ivy.
Our mission is to empower you to own and unleash your truth.
Stories of resiliency are gold, and ivy grows in hard places.
Those hard places are what create space for light to shine through.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production. If you've listened to the podcast for a while, you know I used to be the biggest skeptic about supplements. I thought, I can definitely get everything I need from food. But then I started to realize that high quality, clean supplements weren't about replacing a healthy diet. They were about optimizing my health in a way I never thought possible. For instance, I discovered what so many women eventually do. I was deficient in magnesium. Now that it's part of my routine, I'm sleeping better and I feel absolutely amazing. It made me realize that quality matters more than anything.
When it comes to taking supplements, ingredient integrity is a must for us both, and that's why we trust Smidge. Smidge offers a small line of foundational supplements, core nutrients, including 100% whole food vitamins, and digestive support for people who prioritize real food, but know even the best diets have gaps. They obsess over ingredient integrity, crafting minimal, clean products with zero additives and rich nutrients meticulously sourced from around the world. We both love Smidge's magnesium, but with my chronic gut health issues, Smidge's digestive support is my tried and true. I use their digestive enzymes every single day before meals, and it has been a game changer in post-meal bloat, fatigue, and overall digestion for me. If you have any digestive issues, their enzymes, including the original and HCl plus enzymes, are a must try.
Smidge just dropped some incredible whole food supplements that we've been loving. First up, their Kakadu Plum. Most vitamin C supplements are just mass-produced synthetic chemicals, but this is the real deal from Australia. It's pure, whole food vitamin C that your body actually knows how to use for glowing skin and a rock-solid immune system.
I'm also obsessed with their Australian emu oil. You won't find this at a typical health store. It's the best source of vitamin K2, MK4, which is a total game changer for women's bone and heart health. While plant-based K2 is hard for your body to process, Smidge's emu oil is already pre-converted, so your body absorbs it instantly.
So, if you want a brand that is truly backed by research, derived from sustainable principles, and only wants to provide you with the freshest, highest quality nutrients, it's Smidge.
Head over to getsmidge.com to check out their magnesium, emu oil, Kakadu Plum, and their fantastic digestive enzymes. And don't forget to use our code GOLDIVY10 at checkout for 10% off.
And now to this episode of the Ivy Unleashed podcast. Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. Today is a solo episode, just me. Brooke had one a few episodes back, which was amazing, episode 300. And every once in a while, we like to do this just to give our own perspectives on something that either, it's a really personal experience or it's something we might not totally agree on, or, I don't have much to say about carnivore. I'm not doing it. So she talked about how that was really benefiting her health. And it was really cool to hear her reflections. And today it's time for mine. And something that has came to me in many different ways of an episode that I've been wanting to do is a hill I'll die on. And I just love when people have that take, because I think everyone has their thing, right? They have their thing that it is, I don't care what you say, this is the hill I'll die on. I will talk up until I'm blue in the face about this. And there's a lot of things. I thought about a lot of different things I could probably talk about where I have an opinion and it's probably not going to move. I keep thinking over and over again, what is the biggest hill that I would die on? And for me, what it comes down to is that absolute peace can only be found through faith. And I just keep coming back to that over and over. And there's a lot of different words you can put on it. If it's peace, if it's fulfillment, if it's happiness, if it's joy, if it's, all these words that we're really trying to reach, right? We want to have this life that feels good in our body and that we're in a calm state and we feel happy and we feel at peace. Our relationships are better. Our health is in a better place. We're able to access joy more. We're able to be grateful for our life. And for me, my entire life, when I am firmer in my faith or when I'm more grounded in my faith, that looks like for me praying more. That actually means being more plugged into a church. And it's not like, I don't want to get into like this religious thing, because it's not a religious thing for me. Because when I think about that, I think of like politics and man-made rules and a lot of things that have came to fruition that through my life, I can kind of sniff that stuff out. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. And, some people call this intuition, where you're leaning into a nudge that you're hearing or feeling. You have this, some people call it a calling, or some people have, there's so many words on the planet that we can use for this. Today, I'll be using faith or words like God or Jesus, and you might have different words. But for me, those words feel really true in my body of what has led me to the most beautiful place that I am in my life. And if I didn't have my faith in God, if I did not have that, I promise you, I would not have the life that I have and the health that I have and the sound mind and body, the beautiful things that I have, the peace of mind, the relationships I have. I mean, everything good in my life, I give all glory back to God for it. All of it. And, people will say things like, well, you work really hard, or you're really smart, or you went to college, or you fill in the blank on what's helped me be in the place that I am with a business or healthy relationships. But if you just keep unraveling the layers of that and peeling the onion, for me, I was designed this way by my Creator. And so I can always go back to that is why I'm able to be as happy as I am and healthy as I am. And in life, there's been so many chapters for me that have been really chaotic and messy. And I'm sure for you too, when you think of your life and you think of the trials that you've had and the hard things, and you might be going through something really heavy right now. And I think that's when your relationship with your faith or God or, whatever words you want to put on this gets tested, because you're like, why would I experience that? Why would I have to go through that? Why am I in this place that I feel like I hate whoever created it? I hate who's ever in charge of this. This is so unfair. And I feel that. And I've been in those times too, where I have felt like I'm all alone. And if someone really cared about me that created this, that this wouldn't be my circumstance. So I just want to say, I feel for you. And I have a lot of people in my life that are in a really rough chapter right now. My mom is grieving and I know, and I've gotten her permission to share this, and I've talked about this a little bit before, but her loved one that she had been with passed suddenly, and he was only 70 years old, and it feels really unfair. And what's wild about his story, his name is Ray, is that he spent his whole life trying to be as firm as he could in his faith so that he could get to heaven. And when I think about that, you can hear that and you can be like, oh gosh, what did he think he had to do to get there? And it's not this holier than thou thing. Ray's life, just as an example of someone that was really firm in their faith, was serving others, was helping his neighbor, was taking care of his mom next door every day, like delivering her a newspaper, going back. And I hardly knew him. I had only spent a little bit of time with him, but the time that I had, he was just the type of person that wanted to uplift people and worked really hard and took all the gifts that he was given by God and gave it back tenfold. And when I think about using my faith, I think about that. And for me, it's not just about being a good person, because I think this is so hard to put into words. And this is actually why it's taken me so long to record this episode, because I've felt like I have to say things right. And putting spirituality into words feels impossible. It feels like this mountain that I know I can't climb, and it's going to be ugly and it's going to be imperfect. But I want people to know what that kind of looks like for me and how it helps me and how I use my faith to shift my mindset, how it helps me push myself. And there's lots of different things I can think about, but one big major thing is when you're a follower of Jesus, I think of him. I think of his life. This person that walked the earth and was a human and was made fun of and ridiculed and tormented by people and not believed for what he stood for. I think about how that was really, really hard. How he lived this life that was really, really hard, but never wavered from his faith. And ultimately, he showed people what that looks like. It looks like when someone is dehumanized for what they look like, what they're wearing, if they're sick, if they're some type of outcast, depending on, anything in the social realm, they're an outcast. He was the person that went to them and that was there for them. And that's not easy either, right? Following the crowd is something that I think when I think about being worldly, I think of just doing what everybody else is doing. And when I do that, when I just am like, oh, that looks like that's trending, I should do that. Or that looks like that's the cool thing to wear or do, I do that. It never feels good and it never feels right. And when I get back to, for me, what is true and anchoring into the Bible and anchoring to what is true and what aligns with me and my life and what I know gets me out of whack, kind of getting rid of those things. Sometimes that looks like not staying up too late and getting more sleep. Sometimes that looks like I've been eating like crap and I feel like there's so many things when it comes to realigning myself. And I know if you're listening that you know what I'm talking about when I say that you get kind of off track. And that could be how you're speaking in relationships. If you feel like, oh man, I've been like gossiping a lot and talking about other people, it doesn't feel good, right? When you think about your health and you think about how you have not been active and you know you should be pushing yourself more because you always feel better, but you're not, it doesn't feel good. When you think about finances and you know you should be paying more attention to it and not spending on these things that you know aren't great for you or that you don't need and it doesn't align with your financial well-being, it doesn't feel good and it doesn't feel right. So in any capacity in our life, we can come back to our foundational truths. If you've been listening to Ivy Unleashed, you know how passionate we are about getting to the root cause of our health. Whether it's navigating a chronic health journey or managing perimenopause as an athlete, finding true balance can feel impossible when your body feels out of sync.
That's why we're so excited to introduce you to Deborah Maragopoulos, FNP, affectionately known to many as the Hormone Queen.
After decades of treating complex neuroimmune endocrine conditions, Deborah realized that managing individual symptoms wasn't enough. The key wasn't just supporting isolated hormones, it was nourishing the hypothalamus, the master control center of the entire body.
When she realized no product on the market met this crucial clinical need, she drew on decades of research and patient care to invent and formulate Genesis Gold.
At the heart of Genesis Gold are the sacred 7 hypothalamic amino acids, the only blend in the world engineered specifically to optimize hypothalamic function. It's designed to keep your hormones in harmony by balancing adrenal, thyroid, and sex hormones, enhance mitochondrial energy production, and basal metabolic rate.
Balance brain chemistry for better mood, sleep, memory, and focus. Support healthy digestion, immune function, and cellular detoxification. Wow.
Over 20 years later, Deborah still takes Genesis Gold every single day, and it has helped thousands of patients restore balance when they had run out of options.
We are so excited to be starting our own Genesis Gold journey, and we want you to join us. Head over to genesisgold.com and use promo code GOLDIVY at checkout for 10% off your order. That's code GOLDIVY at checkout.
Now back to the show. So let's just say you're not a Jesus follower and you're thinking about just aligning yourself in a better way that makes you feel happier, makes you feel more fulfilled, makes you feel healthier, makes you feel like you have more energy. I really want you to anchor into whatever it is that you know. When I do that, I feel like I'm more on track and I feel like I'm more aligned. Because sometimes words I'm using, they're not going to hit for you the way they're hitting for me. And that's what I get a little bit in my head about is I don't want to say something that doesn't resonate in a way that like makes you want to just leave the chat, leave this podcast. I want you to stay and think about, what are your foundational truths? When I think about a relationship and I think about a marriage, for example, I think about, if you are aligned on your values, what's truly important in that relationship, and you keep coming back to those things, it's going to be more successful. And I know a lot of listeners are women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and sometimes we get so busy that we don't even know what our values are. And so we just feel lost, and we're so busy that we're on autopilot, and we're just going. And we're kind of like, oh, that's what they're doing? Okay, well, that looks like fun. We should do that. Or your kids are in that? Okay, I'll throw mine in here. And we're kind of just lost. And when you think about that anchor that pulls you back into alignment, into feeling calm and peaceful, what is that for you? It could be prayer. It could be journaling. It could be just silence, quiet time. It could be some type of movement or meditation that gets you to quiet the noise. And for me, when I have that noise quieted, I can hear God. And I can pray and think about, there's this divine plan for my life and for your life. And as I'm moving through this plan, I want to co-create with the person that designed me. And so a lot of times my prayer looks like, lead me into the highest version of myself that you created. You gave me this gift of, exercise for me comes really easily. Talking with people comes really easily. Connection comes really easily. You can see why I do what I do. I love talking. I love learning. Podcasting. I love exercising. I've got gold ivy, right? And so for you, I want you to just keep tailoring your thoughts and that time that's silent into your gifts and how to use them to the max capacity. Because 1, I think it aligns you. 2, I think it brings you more peace and fulfillment. And 3, that is what you've been divinely given to give back into the world. And that's what feels so good. It feels fulfilling, and it has this effect on the planet to make it a better place. And a lot of people, you have a lot different gifts than I have. I think about the people in my life, and I think about how they align with their gifts. It is so beautiful when you see someone acting in their gift. And for me, I feel like it's like a compass, right? You can get off the path, right? We're all on our boat, on the water, going in any direction these waves are taking us. And you can feel it when things feel off. You feel kind of more anxious or irritable or tired. It's because you're not on that efficient path, because you're just going with whatever wave is crashing into you or whatever wind is taking you. And so for me, that's what it is. It's always been this compass. I remember when I was little, and you may or may not have heard this story from me because I've said this in some keynotes and probably on some podcast episodes with Brooke, but I was 4 years old, and I specifically remember being in my living room, looking out the window, watching people go across the street to the church that was near me. And I had this pull towards it. Call it intuition. I call it the Holy Spirit. I had so much curiosity about what was going on in that building. And I had a clue because my babysitter that was across the street, they would play these Jesus songs, and she would play the piano, and we would sing, and I didn't really understand it, but it felt really nice, and I felt this pull towards it. And I asked my mom, after being at my babysitter's for a while, could I join them and go to church, tomorrow morning? And she was like, I don't care what you do, just don't wake me up. So I got dressed up. I joined them. I went to church. I went to Sunday school. And it was my first experience kind of seeing this really wholesome environment, reading from this book that, was probably parables to kind of make it kid-friendly so I could actually understand what's going on. And everything was tailored to love and light. It was just like, if I think about that Sunday school room, I just think of like this beam of light, even in that room. It was so bright. I felt so happy in there. And as I grew older, if I didn't go to church, I kind of felt like just pulled towards it. So I would go to youth group with friends. I would ask them for a ride. My parents didn't go to church, and so I would find a way to get there. And it wasn't just that it was a positive place to be. There was this deep meaning in every Bible verse I would hear, and I would want to know more. And the more I would learn, the more I would think about, man, this guy, this Jesus guy, he just was so deeply connected to the word love and showed it at like the most ultimate form. And when I think about a mentor in my life, I have this one life, a mentor that's going to lead me. I want to choose the one that walked this planet with so much love for every person, grounded in his faith, leaning on God for answers that are way higher than we could ever create ourselves in our messy lives and our messy ways of how we treat people and get short with people and get impatient and resentful and lack forgiveness and all of these things that, we all struggle with as humans. This is my mentor that I can always tap into wherever I am when I'm feeling lonely, when I'm feeling discouraged, when I'm feeling frustrated, when I feel like I have no direction. I can just tap into this and pray to this being that created me. Like, it's a superpower. And so it's the hill I will die on, that you're never alone. I am never alone. And there's so many times I've felt alone in my life. I've always felt very different than my family. I always felt very different than my friends growing up. I felt like this outcast. I could still talk to people and be really social, but I just always felt so different. And I think that's on purpose. And it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because we are all so uniquely different. And a lot of times we mesh together because that's more comfortable. But the beauty that I find is when someone's a little wacky and weird and they don't care, right? The unpolished woman that can just say what she thinks and it's uplifting and funny and goofy. Like, that's what I want, because she knows she's unique and she doesn't have to be anybody else but herself. Like, that's who I want to be around. I don't want to be around the people that are just doing what everybody else is doing because it's convenient. I want to do hard things in my life that align more with the gifts I've been given. So that's why I'm running a marathon in every state, right? Like, that feels not easy. It's hard to do a marathon, but like, one of my gifts, running, comes really easily to me. And me doing that inspires people to try something hard, and it changes their life once they jump into that with me, right? We're pushing our bodies. We are seeing what we're made out of. We're not wasting this healthy, strong body doing nothing, right? And it doesn't have to be marathoning. But what I'm saying is, I recognize I'm capable of so much more, because not only did it come easy to me, when I need fuel, when I need extra energy, when I need inspiration, I can tap into my faith anytime, anywhere. So it's a superpower, and it's free and it's available for anybody. And I just feel like I would be doing a disservice if I said the hill I'll die on is anything else. Even though I'm saying things imperfectly, I'm probably hard to track and follow. Spirituality is so hard to, one, comprehend. It's way beyond what our small minds can even fathom. So to put words on this even is taking a lot of courage. And I know it'll offend people. Also takes some courage. But if I didn't talk about this beautiful gift I've been given and how it helps my life, I feel like I'd be wasting my time, and I'd be wasting your time. Are you tired of the endless battle with cravings? Do you dream of managing your appetite without the hassle, the side effects, or the hefty price tag?
Then it's time to meet Dr. Stephanie. She's not just a doctor of pharmacy. She's a certified diabetes educator and a leading hormone expert. She listened to your struggles and formulated a gentle, natural solution, GLP Wonder.
GLP Wonder is a revolutionary supplement designed for an easier path to appetite control and hunger management. How? It works by combining powerful natural ingredients like areocitrin and green tea extract to naturally support your body's own GLP-1 levels. This signals fullness to your brain, curbs those persistent cravings, and even helps fight insulin spikes, that stubborn, fat-storing hormone.
The result? Reduced hunger, better appetite control, and a more natural way to stay on track with your diet and goals. It's effective, it's safe, and it's affordable. Just 1 capsule per day for powerful results.
GLP Wonder is now easier than ever to find. Look for Dr. Stephanie's GLP Wonder at Walgreens, CVS, and Walmart. And we are thrilled to announce that you can now find it in Target stores nationwide.
Stop waiting and start winning the fight against cravings today. Find your nearest store, or to learn more and shop the full Dr. Stephanie's collection, visit drstephanies.com. And for a limited time, use code GOLDIV30 for 30% off all Dr. Stephanie products at drstephanies.com.
And now back to the show. Something I was thinking about my run earlier is how, I'm always thinking about health, and I'm always thinking about helping people take good care of themselves. And the only way to long-term benefit your health and stay on a positive, healthy track is not by hating yourself. It's not by hating your body. It's not by punishing yourself. And it's only through love. And I think a lot of people disagree with that until you get really honest with yourself. One, if you're in a healthy place or your body's the best it's ever been and you look really good, how are you feeling about yourself? Are you feeling loved? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling fulfilled? Because a lot of times it's one or the other, where people think I have to punish myself, and if I do that, I'm being an idiot or I'm being dumb, and they have all these hateful words that get them to this place where their body looks really good. But it never lasts. And I'm telling you, every time this happens to people that I know, they get injured or they flip back and revert even worse to where they were in the first place. And something that I think people don't talk about in the fitness industry or wellness industry is how much love plays into your ability to be healthy and stay healthy, to stay on the track where you're able to show up for yourself. You're able to, when you have an off day and you don't go as far as you thought, you still give yourself some grace and you keep going because you love and respect your body, the temple that you've been given, I would say, because I've read that in the Bible. And when I think about that, I think about all of the people on the planet that we were selected to be here, right? I've been pregnant, I've given birth. I know how rare it is that this magical situation that I am sitting right here even exists, that I exist. And I think a reason why we feel so crappy when we don't eat healthy foods and we don't exercise is because we know we're out of alignment. If we were in alignment, being grateful for this life we've been given and we took really good care of our body, mentally we're going to feel a lot better just because of that. Not even because of the nutrients and the sunlight and all the things that are good for us. When we're not taking good care of ourselves, we feel like crap. And I think when people kind of tailor that hate of your body in order to make a change, or punishing yourself in the workouts in order to make a change, it can work short term, but I just don't think it's something that you can sustain, because eventually your mental health is going to take a toll. And then your brain is going to associate that pain with exercise, not only physical pain, but the mental turmoil you're putting yourself through while you're getting to that place. And so a big part of what Brooke and I do is we make fitness fun and joyful and about loving on your body, so that when you come to a workout, you're excited. You're, maybe thinking, oh man, I might be sore from this and this is going to push myself. But that's because you have a potential to reach that you're not currently reaching. And I think that is so different. And health goes so much with your faith. Like if I would say, focus on your health and then you'll get to like a better place spiritually or emotionally, I would start with your faith, thinking about how you are so worthy to take care of yourself. Because so many people don't start because they don't have that worthiness piece. And there's a lot that goes into that. of how we were conditioned as children and what we were taught and the environments we grew up in. And Brooke and I are always trying to help people with that piece of knowing you're worthy to feel good and you deserve to slow down and do some yoga. You deserve to push yourself and see how far you can go. I think about Brooke and I, her being this yoga instructor, she's always challenging me to slow down and breathe. And it's hard for me. Like, I don't want to, but I always feel better and I know I need it. Right. And the same vice versa. She did a marathon and she got to see, if you really challenge yourself, what you're made of. And neither of them ever come from a place of like, I'm a piece of crap, so I need to do this, because that just won't last. And so there is this piece of faith and health that I think they're really connected, and that knowing, you were put on this planet for a reason. You are so worthy of having the biggest, most abundant life. And abundant, I don't just mean money, because that's what everybody's mind goes to. Abundant to me means like full of love, full of joy, full of peace, full of money, full of whatever it is that you desire. And I think when you're anchored into that, I am worthy of experiencing all of that, then I think we can start that health journey, bettering our relationships, bettering our financial situation, bettering your professional life. When you're anchored into those things, especially if you have really like good, deep morals of trying to do your best, not to cheat, not to steal, not to tear other people down, not to just be greedy and need everything for yourself. When you think about, okay, I'm going to anchor into the way, let's just say you want to anchor into the way that Jesus lived his life, you're able to go into each category of your life with this integrity, and it feels like momentum because it feels good and it feels aligned. And in that sense, to me, it feels lighter, and it feels like whatever it is that you're going after and you're praying about it and you have the best intention and you go after it with integrity and you just don't stop, there's no way you can't be successful. There's no way you can't turn relationships around. There's no way you can't turn your financial situation around. As long as you don't give up and you keep aligning and staying anchored in that integrity. And so put whatever title you want on it. If it's God, if it's universe, if it's peace, if it's love, whatever it is to start, that in your body, that's what you want to experience. Keep anchoring into that and deciding, okay, what are some small steps I can take? This thing I'm called to do or called to improve on. How do I stay anchored in that foundational truth in my life that I want to be the best, fill in the blank? What steps can I take? And you'll see the distractions trying to get in your way. You'll see the people that want to hang out that that don't help you with that goal, or the habits that you have that do not help you with that goal. But I think we have to anchor in that firm foundation. And for me, hands down, it's my faith. I'm so curious for everyone listening what you're anchored into, what your anchor is. I love talking with people about this because I'm not judging what you believe in. I'm not judging where you come from or why you have the beliefs you have at all. But I do know we all need an anchor. We need our principles that we live by in order to have a healthy anything. And I just want to be curious with you and open and let you know that I would love to talk to anybody about your faith journey or how you use your faith to excel in your life, or how it saved you, or even the problems that you have thinking about having any type of faith in God. It's all powerful, but it's either supporting or fighting something. And so in my mind, it's not a discussion of whether or not God exists. It's more of a discussion of where you land with that and how it affects you. And I think it affects people more than they'd like to admit. I think people have a really hard time talking about this. I know I do. I'm trying to right now. I'm not a pastor. I don't have any education in the spiritual realm. All I know is my life. And I know that having a deep faith has only helped me live a bigger, bolder, more abundant life with healthier relationships, with more forgiveness, with more grace. The more I pray, the more that I anchor into my faith, everything gets better. It's never been the other way around. It's kind of like drinking alcohol. It's like I've never regretted not drinking, but I've regretted drinking. It's like with my faith, I've never regretted going to church. I've never regretted taking a second to pray. I've never regretted it at all. And I just, if anything, if you're questioning this at all, I would just ask for some signs. Give me a sign that I'm on the right track. Give me a sign today that tells me that you exist. Give me a sign that I should dive deeper into my faith and just see what happens. Because sometimes we need that. We need a little sign that shows us that we're not alone, that we can dive into this thing called faith. And if you're more curious about what I'm talking about having Jesus be more of a mentor in your life, start with the Bible app. Or if you're a visual person, start with The Chosen show. It will change your life. And I just want to encourage you to not shy away from this thing, because as we age, we are going to have more and more troubles. Life's going to get harder. People are going to be more likely to pass that are in my life that I've had relationships with, and who knows what will come of other troubles in my life. And we need something firm to anchor into. And so I just want to encourage you to figure out what that anchor is so that you don't feel alone, that you feel like you can always tap into something when you want to get back to that place of peace, of love, that we know makes everything better. I just want you to get curious, what is that for you? And how can you start to tap more into that anchor so that your life becomes a more peaceful, loving place, not just for everybody else, but for you too. When I thought about the piece of gold today, I think it needs to be a Bible verse. And my favorite Bible verse is because I know that I am here to be a light, to shine a light, whatever that light is. That's what I'm here to be. And Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." And I want to encourage you to find your light. This is Gold Ivy signing off. Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.
We want to thank you and encourage you to celebrate yourself for taking the time to learn and get inspired in your one beautiful life. And if this podcast means something to you, it would mean so much to us if you'd be willing to take 30 seconds to help support our mission to keep bringing you inspiring stories and guests.
First, following the podcast is important because it helps you never miss an episode. To do this, just go to the Ivy Unleashed podcast show page on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and then just tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click on follow.
While you're there, if you'd be so kind to give us a 5-star rating and review and share your favorite episode with a friend, we'd be so grateful for your support.
We are thrilled you're here and are so happy that you're taking time to prioritize your wellness, self-discovery, and growth with us. Additionally, we want to remind you that this podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. We are not licensed therapists, and this podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals.